Chapter 43 Relevance of Bhagavad Gita in the Modern World. Many of us wonder about the direction towards which the modern world is headed. People, especially old-timers, feel that the times have changed. But has time really changed? In the past, people did not attach much importance to the aspect of time and went about their work in a relaxed manner. However, in today's world, time is of utmost importance and is equated to money. Today, instead of a cart, we have a car. Instead of using fuels like wood and coal, we use gas. We have modern amenities like television, radios, computers, etc., and are achieving tremendous progress in the fields of science, technology, and medicine. Though these advancements may be taken as an indication of the changing times, what we should be concerned about is the result of these various inventions, innovations, discoveries, and the extent to which they are beneficial or harmful to mankind. In spite of the various material comforts and amenities that exist in the world today, people still suffer from depression, tension, and disturbance. They try to seek solace in spirituality by doing meditation, rituals, and pujas. But even then, most of them are not able to find a satisfactory conclusion to their troubles, and their doubts still remain. Taking recourse to the spiritual world does not seem to yield the expected relief from the several problems one faces in the materialistic world. We have to find a way out of this imbroglio. It is in this situation that the Bhagavad Gita assumes importance, as it provides a connection between the material and spiritual worlds, enables us to attain realization and the permanent peace that comes with such a realization. We need not focus on the intellectual aspect of the Gita, but it is sufficient if we understand its substance. First and foremost, it is necessary to fix a single goal or purpose towards which we have to direct all our efforts and activities. This goal may be technological, scientific, medical, or even materialistic, but it should be a singular aim. If we have multiple needs or diversified goals, then our efforts and resources will be diffused among several conflicting and contradictory purposes and directions to the end that we will never achieve our goals. With regard to the spiritual world, those who are depressed or facing problems automatically turn to God for comfort and support. But the fallacy lies in our treatment of the concept of God. The prayers and rituals we perform will have no effect unless they arise from within our hearts. If we merely offer our prayers without totally and genuinely involving ourselves in that activity, our mentality would be no different from that of an atheist, to whom God merely represents stone idols. Today, we find ourselves in a situation where we feel suffocated, depressed, shackled, and constrained. We desperately wish to free ourselves by resorting to several practices, disciplines, and beliefs. But unless these methods arise from within our hearts, we will not be able to succeed in our attempts to gain freedom. Hinduism believes in the theory of reincarnation. The foundation for our present lives is already established on the basis of our past lives. A yoga prastha will proceed in a yogic line and a man of science will proceed in the scientific path. But these methods of working, systems, or paths are bestowed on us unasked for. This suggests that our life follows a predetermined pattern. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jathare shayanam is an oft repeated line from Bhaja Govindam, composed by Adi Shankara. This makes us contemplate about the purpose of our life. Is the reason for our existence on this earth merely to participate in this constant cycle of births and deaths? Or do we need to divert our energies towards attaining freedom from this cycle? He also focuses attention on the discipline of devotion through the following stanza. Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan mukti. When a person gets attached to satsanga, his desires disappear, which is called nirmohatva. In our attempt to get rid of our desires, we may establish ourselves or hold on to the personification of divine qualities such as Lord Rama, Krishna, etc. Once we are free from our desires, we attain Jivan Mukti or Moksha, which is the highest level an individual can attain. This is called Sthita Prajna in Bhagavad Gita, and the Gita exhorts us to strive for attaining this experience. Therefore, this moksha is not something which we will find only in Kailasa, abode of Lord Shiva, Vaikunta, abode of Lord Vishnu, or paradise. Moksha iti mokshaha. Once we are free from our worldly passions and desires, that freedom is itself moksha. Mohakshaya iti mokshaha. Once we are free from our worldly passions and desires, that freedom itself is moksha. There is a saying that Krishnam Vande Jagadguru, and there is also a line Vishwam Vishnu, which means that the entire world is Vishnu. Here, what is important is not the form of God, but the consciousness. The physical entities may vary, but the God consciousness remains the same. Interaction with this consciousness and becoming united or one with this consciousness is necessary to attain realization. In order to achieve this, however, we should not be suspicious and should not fear, as both of them would make us petty-minded and stand in the way of revelation of the ultimate truth. There was once a mouse that was in constant fear of a cat. It therefore approached a magician and made a request to be transformed into a cat. The magician granted its request and changed it into a cat. As a cat, it was afraid of the dog, and when the magician turned it into a dog, it became afraid of the tiger. When it was transformed into a tiger, it was afraid of the hunter and wished to be transformed into a hunter. The magician turned it back into a mouse and told, "Whatever form I may give you, you still have the mind of mouse." Similarly, all of us should realize that as human beings, we have been given a certain level of intellect, degree of intelligence, and intuition, which we should exercise appropriately instead of wasting it on trivial matters. It is fear and doubt that has made us petty-minded, and these two instincts do not enable us to expand beyond the mind. The Gita shows the way to get rid of fear and doubt through the various yogas such as Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Purushottama Yoga, etc. The fear of the society has made us barter our peace of mind. We have exchanged peace for worldly desires and passions which give us only pain, suffering, and unhappiness. We will be relieved of our insecurity only if we turn to Lord Krishna, the Jagat Guru, or to the Spirit in any other form, surrender ourselves to that Spirit and beseech it to give us protection. Therefore, we should open our hearts to God, state our helplessness, surrender ourselves completely to Him, and He will bestow us with His grace and grant us liberation. The following lines, Ananyas chintayantyo mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham, and sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha express this. The Gita also exhorts us to get rid of the feeling of doership. All our actions should be performed without any attachments or a sense of doership. We should be able to realize that the pain and pleasures of life are experienced by us so that we may be reminded of the existence of a higher spirit. We should accept both pain and pleasure with equanimity, only then mental evolution is possible. Though there may be several creations, there is only one pulsation. Though there are several sounds and distractions, at the base of all these there is a single sound, pranava, which expresses itself as the various sounds. Ultimately, it is the silence which is the fiber of life. In order to experience this, we have to completely surrender ourselves to Him, because it is from this Sharana Bhava that the Sarvatva Bhava arises. If we serve with dedication and devotion, surrender ourselves to God or the consciousness, only then do we attain liberation. This fact is stated by Krishna in the form of consciousness in the Gita as follows: I dwell in your heart, so why don't you be an introvert and recognize me in your heart? I alone am the remover of all the sins. Aham tva sarva papebhyo. I will remove your sense of doership, your worries caused by fear and doubt, and grant you the Antima Pada. I will reach you to that abode from which you will not return to earth. Yad gatva nanivartante tad dhama paramam mama. I will grant you moksha or salvation. The very form of Lord Vishnu represents the above statement. The blue color of Lord Vishnu represents the sky, which covers everything. Sky is the Brahman, which is present in every individual's heart. The color blue also represents love. Therefore, the form of the God is a representation of the sky or the Akasha, and He is also the embodiment of love. He also has a Shanka or conch, chakra or a discus, and a lotus in his hands, and in some pictures he is also depicted as having a single stem of lotus arising from his feet. The Shanka is the expression of the single sound or vibration from which the various sounds of the world emanate. The chakra represents Kala or time. Fear is the shackle or bondage of man. The Lord asks us not to fear and says that He is there to protect us. This is represented by the Varamudra. The stem of the lotus rising from His feet symbolizes that if we surrender ourselves to His feet, we would become the stem and the mind will be transformed to the state of Ekagrata, and this stem, when connected to the heart, will bloom like the lotus that he holds in his hands and which is very dear to him. Therefore, the form of Lord Vishnu or any god is a symbolism. It is a representation of several things. It is this form of God that we should understand, approach, appreciate, adore, and attain.